DBS community, welcome back with another video, and today we're going to be going over the last leader that was shown off for set 22, which is going to be the blue Son Goku and Vegeta leader. I'm going to be calling it Aegis-Geta. I think it's a pretty interesting name. This is an Aegis based deck, and honestly this might be the strongest out of the set, just flat out of the set. This might be the leader that people are looking at. I know people have already been talking about how they think this leader is broken. We'll go over it. I think this leader is incredibly good. There are definitely some ways to out the deck. The deck definitely has some glaring weaknesses, although not many. The deck does have a lot of strengths, but there are some weaknesses to this deck. So we'll go over the deck and the cards in the archetype essentially, and then we'll go into the deck template part of the video as we normally do. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys do like the videos, make sure you guys like and subscribe. All of that is helpful and helps me support the channel and and everything else like that. So a lot of text on this front side. So we have permanent, negate the energy exhaust skill of all blue yellow multicolor Saiyans in all areas, meaning you can charge blue yellow turn 1. Very good. Activate main, add a 1 card from your life to your hand, and then look at top 5 for any blue or yellow Saiyan. So not only can you take your own life to awaken, you also can grab any blue or yellow Saiyan, including blue yellow Saiyans, which also could be your secret rare depending which one you're playing. Awaken, if your life's at 5 or less, you draw 2. And you can't place cards in your energy by skills for the game. So you can't ramp, you can't use Zeno super combos, any other cards that would put a card in your energy. You cannot do that. So just something to keep in mind. And then we have Tag Team in Hell. Same permanent. When this card attacks, draw 1 and add up to 1 card from your life to your hands. You have ways of taking your life down to 3, which is technically where you want to be to make your Z leader effective. Then you have an activate main, draw 1 for 1 blue, and then choose up 20 of your opponent's battle cards 4 or less and add it to the owner's hand. So now you also have a plussing on the front side that also has removal. So you're not only drawing 2 cards on your unawakened side and 2 cards for awakening, then you're also drawing 2 cards on this side too, which is crazy. You can draw 6 cards for 0 energy. You can take a life, draw a card, awaken, draw 2, swing here, draw. Actually, you can, that's plus 5. You can draw a card and take a life, and then tap 1 blue and then draw another card. So you have a lot of draw potential with this deck. So we have 2 different sets of Goku and Vegetas that we use for the fusions as well as the Aegis effects in this deck. So the first is going to be combination attack and health on Goku and Vegeta. When they're sent from the drop to the warp by the Z extra card, which we'll get into in a second, or by a blue Gogeta skill, you get to add the reflecting card from your deck to your hand. And they also can be played for 1 where you draw a card. So you can see here with the Vegeta is the same thing as Goku. They just grab each other or the other combination cards because they are also blue and yellow Goku and Vegetas. And they both draw a card. They both just cost their specific color to play. So Goku costs 1 yellow, Vegeta costs 1 blue. You draw a card and you get to play the cards out from your hand. The next cards are going to be the Counter-Strike cards. I believe they're both called Counter-Strike. And you have Goku and Vegeta. So Goku is a blocker, Vegeta is a crit, both 5k. Both say if your leader is a blue leader with both Son Goku and Vegeta or a blue Gogeta. Z leader, this card gets 15k power permanently. So Goku becomes a 20k blocker while Vegeta becomes a 20k crit. If these cards would be removed from the battle area, they are sent to the warp instead. And then auto, when this card is sent from your drop to the warp by the Z extra card or a blue Gogeta, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards to the rest mode, then play this card from your warp at the end of the turn. So this card has the ability of playing itself from the warp. If it gets removed by the permanent, it doesn't go to the warp. I'm sorry, if it goes to the warp by the permanent effects and when it leaves the battle area. So if it's comboed, or if it dies, it goes to the warp instead. So then you cannot trigger the effect of this card. The Vegeta does kind of the same thing, but instead this one chooses up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards that are 4 or less, and then sends it to the bottom of the deck. So it kind of has a similar effect there. All right, so now we have the extra card that we've been showing off for the past 4 slides, which is Soul Punisher, the Cleansing Light. So it's a 1 cost, 1Z energy. Permanent if your leader is a blue leader with both Son Goku or Vegeta, Son Goku and Vegeta, or a blue Gogeta Z leader. You can activate your Aegis skill by sending 1 yellow and blue card from your drop to the warp instead of discarding a card from your hand. So this actually allows you, this is kind of where the deck gets really ridiculous, is that you have the ability to plus by not having to activate Aegis from your hand. So Aegis is a defensive step card where you pitch a blue and a yellow card. a card that identifies as blue and yellow, so it can be a multicolor or one of each. And then you get to restand an energy, and then a lot of the times these Aegis cards also have another effect. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Aegis is two cards. You'd switch up to 2 of your cards to active mode. And I think it has to be a blue and a yellow, or a blue and a blue or yellow, or blue and yellow. It has an activate battle for 1 blue and 1 yellow, and you have 5 or more energy. And your blue Gogeta Z leader is attacking. You remove the card from the game, and your attacking card gets 30k and triple strike for the battle. So this is a 2 energy, 30k triple strike combo. That's incredible. So this is actually a way for you to actually win the game. You have a built-in triple striker, which is, it's very, very good. It's a very, very good card. Now we have another very good card in the deck. This card is this is just very good, just generic blue yellow stuff. Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, Premonitions of a Fierce Battle. It's a 25k deflect double strike. If your leader is a blue or yellow Saiyan, reduce the combo cost of your card in your hand by 1. So this becomes a free 0 cost blue yellow. This card's played, you get to switch one of your opponent's battle cards to rest mode, and then bottom deck a 5 or less battle cards. So it can be the same card or 2 different cards. And then this card can be played in the main battle, in the main step or the battle step. If your leader is blue or yellow Saiyan, you have 3 more energy, and you have a Z card in your battle area. Draw 1 and place a card from your hand. So for 2 energy, as long as you have a Z card, which you can be a Z battle card or a Z extra card, you can play this guy for 2 on either turn. And then it draws you a card, and then it gets rid of 2 things. It gets rid of an attacker and then another attacker, or tap something and then attack. Like, it's got so much value. It doesn't have unique, which I think is a little bit of a problem. This card's really, really good. But it's 2 energy. There's gonna be some decks that I think are gonna abuse the crap out of this card that are not Gogeta. But this card you're gonna see in a lot of blue decks, and potentially yellow decks as well, since your leader can be a yellow as well too. So very, very good card here. Then we have the Vekus. So this is the first Aegis combination cards we're going to be using. We have Comeback from Defeat. This is a 10k deflect Aegis. You play for 1. When this card's played, it gains barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then if you send this card to the warp, when this card's Aegis skill activates, choose up to 1 of your blue or yellow Son Goku cards with energy cost with 5k power from your warp, add 1 to your hand, and place 1 at the bottom of your deck. So you have this is a card, it's probably the only card I think in the deck where you have the ability of grabbing back your Goku and Vegeta from the warp. So if they go there by their permanent or by their auto, you can use this card to grab them back. You grab 1, and then you bottom deck the other one. And then remember the first 2 Goku and Vegeta we showed off can grab those cards, the reflective card from the deck. So you're basically playing this guy, using the Aegis effect from the warp, sending this card to the warp, and then you're able to add back one of those Gokus and then or Vegeta, and then bottom deck the other one. That's a very, very good skill. Aegis is once per turn. Now Aegis, I'm pretty sure Aegis can only activate 1 time per battle anyways. So I think, I don't think if you have 2 or 3 Aegis cards on board, you can't activate all of them in the same window. I don't think. But I think it's once per battle. I'm pretty sure. I've never actually read the rulebook for that, just because it's never really come up. It's never really been a thing. Aegis, outside of the Violent Rush Bojack, Aegis really has never been incredibly So it's been a while since we've actually had a blue-yellow archetype. So this is, I'm sure someone will let me know that in the comments maybe. And then the other Veku is the promo card that's coming out with the set. So it's the Strongest Failed Warrior. Still the same stat line, 1 energy, deflect. Once card's played, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards 3 or less and switch to the rest mode. And this card can't be KO'd until the end of your opponent's turn. And then when this card's Aegis skill activates, use up to 1 blue or yellow card with 5k combo power from the drop, and a combo with the skill negated for the turn. So you have a free 5k combo off of this, which is cool. And then this card can't be KO'd. So the Veku cards they're kind of a means to an end. You kind of have to run them. They're not very good in the sense of like being like good offensive cards because they're just 10Ks. But they do provide you a lot of defensive capabilities, and that's why you do have to run them. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, Veku was a weak character anyways, so it kind of makes sense. Going from that to probably one of the most powerful Aegis cards we've ever seen. It's going to be Super Saiyan Gogeta Sparking to Utmost Limit. It's a 35k deflect double strike blocker with Aegis, and you pay it 4 energy, 1 blue, 1 yellow, and then 2 colorless. If your opponent has 3 more energy, and you draw 2 cards. And you have to use a yellow Son Goku with 5k power and a blue Vegeta with 5k power as well for the Union Fusion. Remember, you can use these cards from the drop as well. This card's played. You can't. This card can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is quite enough time for this card to do what it's supposed to do. Auto, when your energy switch to active mode by a skill, switch this card to active mode, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons and switch it to rest mode. So you have the ability to essentially restand this card, which can then act as a blocker, and then you can tap something else down. Now this is 4 energy, so this is I mean, I know you obviously can get some of the energy back, but you're basically spending your entire turn paying 4 energy for this card. So that is something to keep in mind. It's a great card, but it's mainly for defensive purposes. You're paying 4 energy for a double striker on offense. It's not the greatest with that, but defensively this card is very, very good. And we have the Z Leader, which is probably, outside of the Secret Rare, I think the most cracked part about this entire deck. So you 20k, you have to be at 3 life, 2 Z energy, and you have to pay 1 blue. Auto once per turn when your blue yellow multicolor Gogeta card is played by a Union skill, you get to draw 1 and choose a 20 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier placed at the bottom of the owner's deck. So this is already good. So obviously, if you play the card we just showed off for 4, you'll draw a card. You can bottom deck something. Also, this card attacks and draws. Then activate battle. If it's your turn and you have a Gogeta or a Veku card, both with Aegis skill in play, you may send 1 blue and yellow card from your drop to your warp. Switch up to 2 of your energy to active mode, and you can only play yellow battle cards for the turn. So a lot of what people were going over is that on 5 energy you can swing this card. You negate your opponent's. Your opponent goes to negate. You ape counter. Right, and then you can activate battle to warp 2 cards, then restand 2 energy, and then use that 2 energy for the Z extra card. It's a very cool stat line. I mean, it's a very cool play line. Definitely seems pretty concrete. But there's other applications for that as well too. So there's a lot. Obviously, you can't use the activate battle on your opponent's turn, so meaning you can't actually use Aegis, but you can. This is basically like you're using Aegis on your turn. So. This is a very good Z Leader. Might be one of the best Z Leaders we've actually ever seen in the game. I know we've only this is what, the third or fourth set for Zenkai. But man, this is a very powerful effect. Very powerful effect. And speaking of very powerful effects, we have the Secret Rare that was announced for the deck, which is Super Saiyan Gogeta Fusion Reborn. It's the ultimate with blocker and Union Fusion for 1 blue or yellow. So it's the Secret Rare that costs 1. Your leader has to be blue or yellow, and you have to 3 more energy, and you have to use a Goku and a Vegeta card. So it can be anything, just has to be a Goku and Vegeta. Remember, if you have the Soul Punisher out, you can activate the Union Fusion from the drop area instead of playing it from the warp. Also has Aegis once per turn, and then this card can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills, and you can activate this card's Aegis skill by sending 1 card from your opponent's hand to the bottom of their deck instead of discarding a card from your hand. So, it's weird. So, the Aegis effect. This is only when you're paying for the Aegis effect. It's weird. Yes, you essentially can kind of hand control your opponent a little bit as a blue deck, which is kind of disgusting. The second effect is when your energy is switched to active mode by a skill. She says when your opponent's battle card ignoring barrier switches to rest mode and then switches card to active mode. So this card kind of doubles as a blocker. Now the fact this card cannot be removed by skills, meaning you have to either swing into it and kill it by KOing it, or somehow negate its skills, which is definitely possible, or reduce its power to 0. But this is a very, very big card, very terrifying. I think this is going to give a lot of people nightmares, including myself, when I play against Gogeta players, because we're going to see a lot of Gogeta, I feel like, next set, just based off the archetype alone. The archetype is incredible. So now we're going to go over the deck itself and show you guys what I came up with, and you guys can let me know what you guys think. All right, so we have the deck here. I believe this is a 54 card deck. You ran a few extra cards just because this deck is going to cycle through it very, very quickly. and we just had a few extra spots for tech pieces. So start off with the Gokus and Vegetas. So we have 4 of the combination attacks in Hell, and then 3 of the counter strikes. Since these cards technically search out, the opposite ones, so Vegeta searches out both Gokus, Goku searches out both Vegetas. That's very cool. And also being able to get some of these cards back off the Vekus. You don't want to just have a ton of these cards in your hand, because you only have 3 cards in the deck, 4 cards technically if you count your secret rare, that actually use these for fusion materials. So you don't want to just stock up on having doing 4. So we just cut one of these each, so those 2 extra slots we can use for something else. We have 3 Pycon. I did not show this card off in the video. This is a card that's specifically for this deck. So you actually can pitch this card from your hand to add any blue or yellow Saiyan that costs 4 or less, meaning you can add the cards before it or any other cards that's 4 or less that's a blue or yellow Saiyan. And it's if you play it for 1 in the activate battle steps, if your leader is a Saiyan card, you have 2 more energy, place card from your hand, and choose that's one of your opponent's field extras with an energy cost of 2 or less and place in the owner's drop. This card's very unique. I don't know what you would use this for. So like in some instances, I guess with like the new Goten Gohan deck, you can hit their healing pod. That's kind of cool. Decks that are running a lot of, you'll see a lot of extra card like field spells are either have barrier or they cost like 6 or 7. So, but this card might be very powerful in the future. Definitely can be a card that you might see hindering some decks being able to snipe field spells. So, pretty cool card. We have 3 of the new Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, just 3. You have to play it past turn 3. 4, you can definitely run 4. I just wanted to cut it just to make some room for a little bit of other stuff. But this is definitely one of your big cards. It's searchable off of almost everything in the deck, including the Pycon that I already showed off. So you're definitely gonna find this card. We have 4 of the comeback from defeat, and then 1 of, this is the promo Veku. I actually couldn't find it on DBS Deck Planet. I don't know if it's actually on there. I could not find it for whatever reason. So this is the one that you can grab back, card from the Warp, and then bottom deck 1, and against barrier, and then this is the one that has that can't be KO'd, and then you can combo a card. So I only did 1. I think you're probably going to be playing this Veku most of the time. And then just getting the pieces back and then using them for the Gogetas. We have 3 super-powered Hindurance Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. So this is a card that has spiked up ridiculously in price. So sorry for people who had to buy this card. This card was like a $3 card, and I think the winners were selling for like 25, 30 almost a piece. This is a very good card, okay? So it's a 2 cost activate main. You can play for 1 blue and 1 yellow. If your leader's blue or Universe 6, you play it. When this card's played, draw a card. And limit 1, if this card's in rest mode, when your opponent attacks your leader, you switch out to one of your opponent's energy to rest mode. So this is kind of old school, like Mecha Frieza, like reboot Mecha Frieza, with the Shapil card that you would play, where your opponent would attack, you would tap down one of their energy. So you can play this, and this kind of, like, you put this down on turn 2, your opponent can't, they have to try to deal with this card first before they swing at your leader, or else they're going to lose an energy. And this card replaces itself, and it's just going to sit on board to 19k. So a very, very good card. It's searchable off the leader. Definitely something I think you should be running in the deck, just because it's just another powerful 2-drop. This one more so for defense. So if you have an Aegis card on board and this card on board, it's going to be really hard to get through that defense there. So we have 2 Goku and Vegeta Saiyan Bonds, another interesting tech card. So this is an arrival for 1 blue, 1 yellow. This card is played, you draw 1, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and negate its skills for the duration of the turn. So you can technically run the peel off shoe card. That's also a possibility, because that one you play for 1 and you draw a card. So that's an option. But I put this card in just so I can show it off if people didn't know this card existed. This card's it's another Saiyan, so it's searchable. You also can charge this card. Because this card might not be good in some matchups, being able to charge a blue yellow like turn 1, that's not like Kefla or Veku or one of your Gogeta pieces or the Goku. This is just another good card to just charge, which sometimes is hard to do in these decks. But this deck, you definitely want to be able to charge a blue yellow as early as possible, so then you can make use of all of your combination cards here. Because if you charge a green, if you charge a yellow card, you can't play the Vegeta. If you charge a Vegeta here, like, well, a mono blue, you can't play either one of the, you can't play the Goku. So like you have to be able to, synchronize your energy very well. So This just gives you another multicolor that you can hopefully guarantee a turn 1 blue yellow. 4 Vegeta super combos. This also too is because we don't want to charge just mono yellow. We're going to charge mono blue or blue yellow. So this way this card's alive. Just being able to get some of these dead 10Ks out of your hand. Outside of this Goku here, all the other 10Ks in the deck, all the other multicolors in the deck are 10Ks, and they cost 1 to chart to combo. So obviously you can use all of these blue yellow cards for Aegis, which is another option if you don't have the Z card out and you don't have those cards in your drop area. However, this is just the best one, being able to bottom deck something and search, and grab 2 more cards. We have 3 of the big Gogeta. I think 3 is plenty. It's a 4 cost. Remember that. You're gonna play it probably turn 4, and you may play it turn 5, and you may never play it again. Right? This card's very good. It's not unique or anything, so you can definitely slap more of this card down. But you're gonna. I think 3 is probably plenty. It kind of goes with the rest of the deck. You don't want to max out on this card. We have one of the Gogetas. This is the God Rare art, which is very, very cool. I think this is going to be a very expensive card. Very excited to see if hopefully someone pulls it on my locals. Generally, people pull this on our pre-release, so hopefully maybe I'll be able to pull it on pre-release. That'd be great. You can run Beast Gohan as well. I think Beast Gohan has some tangible usage in this deck, but I think this just being a great defensive piece for this deck and flows well with obviously all the Aegis stuff. Kind of a no-brainer to run this one. 4 D-Magic, 3 Senzu Bean, and 2 Champa the Tricksters. So this is some of our defensive stuff here. So Senzu Bean and Champa are sort of our combat tricks for defense. D-Magic obviously is your blue negate. This might change if D-Magic gets banned, but as of right now it's not. So we'll put it there. Champa, very old card. This card used to be like $15, $20. It was hilarious. So it's a counterplay. You play it. It's kind of like Kusu in that sense. If you have a multicolor card in your energy, this card gets reduced by 1, so it costs 2. And then when you play this card, you set 20 your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and switch to the rest mode, and then you draw a card if it's your opponent's turn. So if your opponent plays a big battle card with barrier, let's say they are playing Green Gohan, and they play the 8-drop, you can play this card in counter window 2, or it would counter window, in counter window 2. You would come down, you would tap the 8-drop, and then you get to draw a card. It's pretty good. It's not searchable or anything, so that's kind of an issue. You can always run something else if you don't want to run it for 2. You can run Matado, you can run Fuba. There's different targets, but again, this is just a really cool card that's been used a lot in blue yellow back in the day. So wanted to show it in here just for kind of the newer players who may not know about this card. 1 Baby Ape. I kind of talked about the play earlier, where you're able to swing with your Z leader. You then tap 5, counter them. Then you can activate battle to then restand 2 energy and then use that 2 energy for your Z extra card. It's pretty powerful. And this card's also searchable, so that's good. 1 Gohan, again, searchable, just another tech card. Being able to pop something in the combo step, it's still pretty good. 2 Rumble the Gods, Beerus Destroys, and 3 Android 17, kind of rounding out the non-Aegis package. These are just all good blue staples you're going to be running in any deck. So. And then we get to the Z deck, which we have 1 of the Z leader, 1 Soul Punisher. These 2 go together. 2 Cell Awakening of the created, one of your big Z cards for board clearing. 2 Beerus. I almost said Beery. 2 Beerus. Another very good blue card. I don't think it needs too much explanation. And we have 1 Super Saiyan Blue Sun Goku Evolved Defender. Since we are charging yellow, we can actually play this card. And this card, when you mix like late game, if there's decks that don't have good barrier removal, if you can slap down your secret rare, you have a Kefla on board and this Goku on board, your opponent's basically locked. There's not really much that they're able to do. They're going to tap an energy when they swing. First thing they play is going to get tapped down, and then you have the Gogeta here, which is going to be able to block. And then you can also get rid of something else and remove a card from their hand. So you have a ton of just defensive pressure. The Cell and the Beerus just help also push for game in some senses. Since Beerus can swing 3 times, Cell can board wipe and swing twice for crit. If not, it can also swing for triple strike crit if it actually gets the effect off. And then you have your Gohan and your baby for more pushing damage, as well as your Z leader combination. So this deck is very scary. I think this is probably the deck out of everything. There's like, I think maybe Fu. I would say Fu, Goten, and Gohan and Gogeta are probably I think the best decks out of the set. And I think out of those 3 decks, I think this deck has the highest chance of winning the most events or winning the first event. I haven't really decided which one kind of falls on, but I definitely can see this deck having a higher win percentage or a higher topping percentage than every other deck in this set. It's just incredibly powerful, using the 2 most powerful, overpowered, overtuned colors in this game, which is blue and yellow. So, very powerful deck. But here's the list. Guys can copy it and guys can tweak with it if you guys want to. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have some cool techs, there's a ton of different stuff you can play in this deck. So just keep that in mind. But that will be it for me today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.